Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we point toward next week's show and our 24th anniversary. And it's going to be a special show. Shelby McCall, our show producer, will have her trumpet. She brought it today, but no, we're going to make her hold off until next week.
All right.
Yeah. And there's that familiar voice you hear. This is Fourth Saturday, which we call BW, Bonus Wong. And Ron Wong is in the studio. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Good morning, Shelby. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning.
Have we not had some great weather? And so this has been
well,
unbelievable. It's
yeah.
It's coming back.
It is back.
The heat is back.
Well, it came back yesterday.
Yeah, but that's okay.
And it was over 90 yesterday.
That's all right. And it's going to be a little warm next week. But so we're hooking up. Is Bill on the phone yet? Do we have?
I'm here.
Bill
here.
Cooksey is with us. Good Saturday morning, Bill Cooksey. Yeah.
Good morning. I mean, I should be squirrel hunting right now. So
it is. Yes, it is free hunting day in Tennessee. All you folks
right.
I guess you ought to know that, but it's also the opening day of the squirrel season, and it's also the what they call the velvet hunt for
That's
deer.
Right. I forget about that.
Yes,
I always forget about it.
But this year, folks, it's all archery. None of those CWD people out there with guns and rifles and muzzleloaders. You're back to the basics now. The what we might call some of the true hunters are out there this weekend. But this is free. This Saturday is free hunting day in Tennessee. And, golly, I know it's a great thing to do, but here it is. State resident hunters are exempt from hunting license and WMA permit requirements. Many of the WMAs are open to hunters seeking public access today. So hunters are asked to check the information specific WMAs in the hunting and trapping guide. So get that out there. And Bill's already stole the thunder there with some of that. But we will say, Bill, me and Ron had a great time in Springfield, and your name was actually mentioned from the stage. I don't know if you know that or not. Yeah.
I wish I'd been there to hear it.
Yeah, Garry Mason had all of us inductees from previous events of the Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame, which was held last Saturday in Springfield at the Johnny and Jenny Morris Conservation Center there at Bass Pro Shops. And he had them all stand up, and he said, I don't see Bill Cooksey here. And I said to myself, no, he's not here, but he's here in spirit. So you're the only one that he recognized that wasn't there. So I think that's an honor, that.
I think so. I think so.
Well, it was. We're going to
I'm
talk.
sure it was great.
Yeah.
It always is.
Well, we're going to talk to Garry Mason in the next segment, the founder and chief muckety-muck for the Legend of the Outdoors, and he'll fill us in on all the details. Mr. Wong was everywhere. I thought there was 3 or 4 Wongs up there, because he was directing traffic. I mean, he made Bill Jordan get up against the wall. I thought he was going to throw him up against the wall. Will Primos and all these other inductees. Ron was taking pictures and great photographs. I don't know how many you took, Ron.
There's
probably.
I think that, at some point in time they'll be out on LarryRay.com.
Yeah.
And there's going to be over 400.
Over 400, because it was stretched over really. Friday night we had a get-together and a
nice meet and greet.
Nice meet and greet, and they even had what the food was. They had it signed up there, and Ron was pointing them out to me. There was some wahoo. There was some.
The wahoo was excellent.
Ooh, the wahoo was excellent. There was
the smoked duck was very good.
Smoked duck, yes. There's so many things like that. We had a chance to meet and greet on some of that.
And I would be remiss if we didn't talk about.
We did miss you, Bill. We did miss you.
Yeah, and the wonderful entertainment by the one and only Olivia Faye.
Yes, Olivia Faye. And
she was awesome.
I understand they did some picking and grinning on Saturday night after it was over. But
Glenn Wheeler was going to be in on that, too.
They had a bunch of that. And, of course, me and Ron, we had to check on out of there. Ron had to make it back to home, and he didn't get away till late. And we went on down to Arkansas and spent the night Saturday night with Miriam's oldest brother. But I tell you, Bill, I've been to a bunch of these, and, of course, you and I went in together 2 years ago, and what a humbling experience that was.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this one, 400 people, there was hardly any empty seats, Bill.
Yeah.
And
it was full.
And some of the speeches, all these guys that went in, and we'll talk to Gary a little bit about that, but I don't know.
Did everybody keep it to 5 minutes?
Well,
you know what? The inductees did.
The inductees, but the introducing people were a little
Their
longer
presenters were pretty long-winded.
Yeah. I mean, they all did a great job, but for us, when we had our 5 minutes, and we were told to get out of there, and of course.
Yeah, but then everybody else stood up there and talked for 15 or 20. I was like,
well, and
I worked hard to slim it down.
I know you did. Yeah. I think you went right after me when I was up there. Of course, you weren't ridiculed like I was by Michael Waddell and Billy Blakely.
Yeah, the live auction ran really long because of they had 13, 14 items, and typically in most events like that, you have only about 10, and it goes a lot quicker.
Yeah, they had some great auction items. I can tell you that. And Gary again will fill us in on that. But Bill, we haven't checked in with you a while. But what's going on with you?
Man, I have been all over the map.
You have,
tons of traveling. But now I'm home for a few weeks, excited about that. And actually have a big meeting in Tennessee here in a few weeks in Jackson, where one of our major funders and a whole bunch of NGOs are coming to town to look at a project area that we're really trying to move forward on. I think we're going to be able to do some good stuff down there in the Forkadere River bottoms.
All right,
And hey, man, this week the duck counts came out.
They did, didn't they? Yes.
I've been excited about that. It was a little better than I expected.
Was it? I was going to ask you that because I've looked at them.
Because most of the water on the prairies got there after the counts were done in May.
Oh, okay.
So everyone felt good about the odds of the birds doing well this year.
Yeah.
But it was kind of tempered by the fact it was a little later than anyone would like.
Yeah.
But they did respond, and there was a lot of late nesting that came later. So the bird numbers, just based on the regular counts like they fly, were largely up a little bit. So next year we'll have another 60-day season. And, hey, for a lot of us, this is really cool. We're going to get a 3 pintail limit.
That's right. And I know I've posted it on my on Facebook and website, the figures. DU sent them out. Of course, Delta Waterfowl sent them out.
Yep.
They got them out.
To clarify, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service does the counts.
Yes.
DU and Delta report them.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody out there listening, it's not them telling you, it's the Fish and Wildlife Service.
And they'd be the first one to tell you that too, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to think it's just all about them and everything, but it did make you.
But I think it's really cool that on pintails they're finally managing for what is sustainable now versus trying to get back to the numbers we had in the 1970s when they weren't farming the whole shortgrass prairie of Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll never have 5 to 8 million pintails again on the prairies. It just the habitat's gone. But we still have a very populous duck, and we're going to get to actually hunt them a little bit more.
And Bill, and again, we're talking to Bill Cooksey. Bill joins us on the fourth Saturday with Bonus Wong over there, and of course Ron likes to cook the duck and things like that. But I don't know about this drought we're having, Bill. I mean, we had a wet July, but August has been awful. So I don't know what that means. That folks are already out.
I will tell you,
even the
traveling to Springfield.
Oh man,
it was dry.
It was dry. Yeah, and so I don't know what does that affect for those guys getting ready for the season coming up, because it won't be long and we'll have the early duck season. So
yeah, I mean, of course that's not as big a deal here as it is, say, around the Gulf Coast, where some of those birds are just flying there.
Yeah.
Because August, look, the only time we have a wet August is when there are a bunch of tropical storms coming up.
That's true. That's true.
Southeast Texas.
Yeah.
August is just a dry month. Really, August all the way through mid-November is typically. October's our driest month of the year, and I think August is typically number 2 or something like that. So it's really to be expected. I mean, now you hope that between now and November we'd get some more water and get the Mississippi up a little bit.
Yeah, it's at zero.
Because some of these refuges can't pump and hold water, and even a lot of landowners can't pump and hold water in those Mississippi river bottoms because if the river's low, it falls out through the ground. So it'd be nice to get that up and kind of position us where maybe for a change, because it's been several years, we could have some water by the end of November in this area. Well, not just the pumped up rice fields, but in other places too.
All right. Well, we got to get. We can't go without this first segment. With the 2 minute warning has been signaling. It's Ron Wong is biting at the bullet over there for the fishing report. All right, Ron.
So, well. The water temperatures are going up and down like a yo-yo because of the weather that we've been having, but the fish are staying about the same.
Okay.
Crappie fishing, fishing over deeper water, they're anywhere from 5 to 12 feet deep. Power trolling using fin spins with a slab curly tail on it, or crankbaits about 12 feet deep, and it's a pretty fast troll. I understand the best speed right now is about 1.7 miles an hour up to 1.8 miles an hour.
All right.
The bass are biting really good on at Sardis and Enid right now. They're catching them early in the morning on topwater baits on the main lake points.
All right.
And after they go down, a 7-inch cutter worm or a 6XD chartreuse sexy shad colored crankbait will catch them.
Got to do that. Well, look, Ron can pump it out. He's been out of town on the road, but he can still pump it out for us. And we might talk to Ron a little bit later. We'll save some of that for the end. We might tease you with a little bit of that. So let's take our first break in the morning, then we're going to come back with the man himself, Garry Mason, the founder of the Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As again, we head toward next week's show, the 24th anniversary show. Going to have a lot of surprises, some guests, and we might even give away some prizes. Shelby will be here with her trumpet.
All right.
We're going to have a lot of fun. That's on next week. 24 years on the air. But I tell you what, Bill Cooksey and Ron Wong are with us as co-hosts. Bill on the phone, Ron in the studio. And I know Ron was a valuable part of last Saturday's Legends of the Outdoor Hall of Fame, the awards program, that he was the official photographer. He said he took about 400 pictures. And he will autograph them later on if anybody wants to autograph. But I wanted to really open today's show and kind of recap as best we can with the man himself, who he doesn't take credit for this. He's got a great board of directors. He's got a wonderful family. He's got a great support staff. But if we didn't have that somebody, as his wife would say, you're somebody. Well, he definitely is somebody. And that's our good friend Garry Mason. He's the founder of the Legends of the Outdoors National Hall of Fame. And Garry, I know you guys are kind of tired. Next year, we're going to stay because we want that picking and grinning. I really missed that. But tell us what went through your mind when it wrapped up, Garry, because it was, to me, you've been doing this 22 years. COVID knocked you out a year, but it gets better every year. So how about a synopsis from the man himself?
Well, I'll tell you, Larry, it was absolutely phenomenal. You know, Cuz Strickland and I talked, I guess, the day after the event, and Cuz said, I've been coming to this thing for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
He said, and I wonder how it's going to be any better than it was last year. And he said, every year it is.
Yeah.
And, it's just God plants the flowers and keeps them watered and makes them grow. And that's what he's been doing with us. He's been helping us grow. And, man, I tell you what, if you was in that room, you got to hear great men and women stand on that stage with tears flowing down their eyes.
They sure did, yeah.
And talk about their family and their God and their country. And I tell you, you couldn't see it from where you was at, but I was standing up there crying with them. I'm just, it was just such a wonderful day. My family, as you said, worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
And my wife and 3 children and our grandchildren were all there, and they actually was doing all the work. I just got to stand up on the stage, but just a phenomenal event, not because of me, but because of all of you. Great men and women that are Hall of Fame members and those that went in and the awardees and that got thank yous and plaques and stuff. And we're already working on next year's event. And I tell somebody it takes 368 days a year to make this thing happen. So
it does.
So we're working really hard already for next year's event. And we need all your support and your prayers and the praises have done been said. So
get your tickets early. I mean, this is going to be the second Saturday in August.
Third
Saturday in August of next year at one of the highlights. A wonderful place to hold this event at the Johnny and Jenny Morris Conservation Center there at Bass Pro.
That's a great place.
Right next to the wonders of the wildlife and the aquarium and everything else. And folks, put it on your calendar now.
Make it a weekend and visit all of the stuff
in Springfield.
Yeah.
Do all that. And I know Bill and myself went in 2022, and what really happened was, on Facebook they send you these pictures from past. And I got these pictures at the same time we were at this year's event, and I had no hair hardly, and the pictures of Bill up there and me up there and things along that. It was just I don't know, Bill. You could probably describe it the best as anyone because you got your 5 minutes in, and I know it meant a lot to you, didn't it, Bill Cooksey?
I still have trouble talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't even know how to try to describe, what an honor that is and how humbling it is.
Well, I think when you and Ron's captured this all on his photos that we got on LarryRay.com and everywhere else you've been seeing them, but to think that Bill Jordan and Will Primos, and they're hugging everybody, their families are there, and then and our good friend Bill Cooper, he brought everybody, I think, from Southern Missouri there. And Bobby Hart had his chair and say, how about Mike Pentecost? I think everybody was there for Mike.
Mike had 5 tables.
5 tables, people. And,
wow.
And we're talking about, Gary, with 40 tables and almost 400 people, the magnitude of this event, and I know the history of it and everything like that, but when you get through with it, I don't know how you come back down to earth. I mean, on our way back from Springfield, we were we sat at the table with Ron Jolly and Tess, and to see her award and to know that I got the very first Wade Bourne Communicator Award, and I told that to Tess, and she just grabbed and hugged me together.
Well, I tell you what, it was really great to see Tess and Ron, and of course all the wonderful people that was there. I looked out across that room, and I tell you, it's just flabbergasting to me because out there was all of my outdoor heroes, Cuz and Harold Knight, and Ray I and Preston Pittman and Philip Vanderpool and you and all the folks that I look up to in the industry and that I've come up with. And I'm going to tell you, if you wasn't sitting in that room on that day, you just don't know what you missed. And I don't say that from my perspective. I'm saying that because that's the absolute truth. And we sold that hotel out before July 1st.
I know.
Wow.
I know. I got my room. I know that you gave the warning.
Gary, I've been in this for a few years, and and I'm starstruck when I'm there.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, absolutely.
I am too.
Absolutely. Well, I'm telling people right now that you better go ahead and let us know you want a room, and you better go ahead and get your tickets early because we'll be sold out once again next year. And how about that silent auction that my wife and my kids all put together?
Yes, an amazing thing. How about that rifle from Bobby Hart? I mean,
that was pretty awesome.
That was
the one thing that nobody knows is Philip Vanderpool sold his bow number 6 out of 30.
Yes.
He got all of us to sign it.
Yes, he
Every
did.
legend that was there.
Yeah.
And he sold it for his best friend, Dan Howe.
Yes.
And a man bid on that and gave $6,000 for that bow, and every penny of it went to Dan for his cancer. He's got terminal cancer.
Yes.
And then Bill Jordan
Here he
stood up
comes.
and said, "We're going to match that $6,000 from Realtree."
Yes, he did.
Which brought $12,000. But here's what you don't know.
What?
That man, during the dinner, that man come up to me and Philip Vanderpool and said, "Philip, I want you to keep that bow. I'm giving it back to you. I still am going to pay the $6,000, but I want you to keep your bow."
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
And so that gentleman owns an organization called Living the Dream.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So, well, it's just so much side notes when you just look around you. You don't realize. I mean, Preston Pitt is sitting right across from me there, and I look around the room and. Of course, Ron goes up there to Bill Jordan, and they're talking hotty-totty all of a sudden. I don't know where that came out of there.
This is the first place I've ever been where I've been in a room of 400 outdoorsmen and hollered, "Hey, let's eat," and nobody shut up and sat down.
Well,
I had to holler 3 times and then get Ray I up there to do a gobble before anybody pays attention to me.
Well, that's a good man to do it, but the food was great, and I know when I went up to Will and it was a great segment we had with Will a couple of weeks ago. Then of course we had Tyler and Bill on too, and Will's asking me about my cancer before I have a chance because he knows where it was and he wants me to announce that to the crowd. I'm not going to tell him that, but he had a different term for my cancer that I went by. But it was just such a family atmosphere, so heartwarming. To think that these people who are icons, Bill Cooksey,
absolutely.
They're just sitting there, and you talk to any of them. Jimmy Houston walks in with Chris. Golly, if you can't cry over that, buddy. I mean, and here comes Mr. Blonde-headed man himself, and he's got Chris with him. Not only was this a home run, Gary, this was a grand slam. I'm just going to say that. And,
thank you guys very much. I can't take credit for it other than to say that God's the one doing it. And, I did hear Chris Allison, who owns Knox County Whitetails, one of our great sponsors.
Right.
And Chris told me, he said, "I'll tell you, I was a little bit down in the dumps when I come down to that event."
Yeah.
He said, "But this was like going to a revival."
It was.
He said, "When I come out of that room, I was so pumped up." And he said, "I couldn't wait to get back and start putting up the trail cameras and setting deer stands and getting my season started."
Yeah.
He said, "I'll just tell you, I'm revigorated." And he said, it was just like a revival.
Well, you just got so many parts to this with Joella's quilt that everybody's signing. And
that was cool.
And then the Gritter's there. My man there is there coming in with a flag. And then meeting Dan and the cancer. He's got stage 4 cancer. I don't know what my wife put in his pocket, but I've never seen Miriam do that before. But she got something out of her wallet I didn't know she had, and she put it in Dan's pocket. I mean, it's just there's so many memories. We could spend a whole show talking about this, but I wanted Gary to get on and put a wrap on this. But again, we want to congratulate Bill Carson, Bobby Hart, Bill Jordan, Mike Pentecost, Bill Cooper, Will Primos, Kent Driscoll, man, all of B&M was there, it seems like.
Boy, they were.
Yeah, and Murray Crow, golly, it was just, 8 wonderful people, and then the awards that you hand out to that. And Bobby was overwhelmed. Bobby Hart, and we had him on the show, and I got to meet Bobby, and I've never seen Bobby that dressed up. It takes a lot to, I mean.
That's the only thing about the event. You see people all dressed up and you don't recognize them.
That's right. No. Well, unless it's Billy.
When do you ever see Bill Jordan out of real tree camouflage?
That's
right.
Exactly right. Yeah. I guess the only one I could recognize for sure was Billy Blakely when he walked in with Chrissy. Okay. I think he sleeps in that shirt, but.
The neatest thing I think about the whole atmosphere was the story I told about telling Bill Suggs, the CEO of Mossy Oak, that Bill Jordan was going in, and Bill Suggs' great words were, "I can't think of a more deserving person."
And that's something. Well,
it was fabulous.
It's just a great way to close this segment. Gary Mason, you and your wife, and all.
Appreciate all you guys do to make this happen.
Put me down for a room next year, okay?
We got you. Y'all call me back anytime. We'll talk about next year's event.
We'll do that, Bill. All right, thank you, Gary. All right, have a great
weekend.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're on a roll. We're going to come right back, and it's time to talk a little deer on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good Saturday morning to all you folks right here in Memphis who listen to Outdoors with Larry Ray on AM 790, 92.9 HD FM every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30. And, of course, in Brownsville on News Talk. Let's see, in Brownsville, there it is, AM 1520 and 95.3 FM in Brownsville from 6 to 7:30. And, of course, Bill Cooksey's old stomping grounds there at News Talk 101.5 at Jackson from 6:30 to 8. Now, I think you've listened to that station before, hadn't you, Bill?
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Well, we got a lot of great listeners, and I know we got some listeners in East Arkansas, particularly in the Helena area, all the way up to Jonesboro, all throughout East Arkansas. I was out of town last weekend, but I was able to pick up the show. I got to about Forest City for sure that we could get it in, but we've got a gentleman on the line with us now. He's been with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission for 16 years. He's based out of Jonesboro. In a newly created position, he is the Arkansas Game and Fish Deer Management Assistance Program Coordinator. And Jeremy Brown, I don't think you can get that on a shirt, can you? I mean, that's one
hefty title there.
That's a big title. It's going to run under your arm, I think, and everything. But tell us a little bit, because Jeremy, I got the news release about the Jackson Point Hunting Club in Phillips County. And of course, as Bill Cooksey said, I've heard of this club because it's been around for more than 4 decades. And the job that they do down there with 8,000 acres. But recently they were named the 2024 Landowner Conservation Awards Banquet. They were named the Hunting Club of the Year. Is that right, Jeremy?
That's right. So just to back up, the Deer Management Assistance Program is a free program that the Game and Fish Commission offers to clubs.
I love that free. Yeah.
Technical assistance on their hunting properties. We try to focus on larger land acreages, so we need a minimum of 500 acres to really make a landscape level impact. But
okay.
Jackson's Point, just like what you said, this hunting club, it goes back 40 plus years. Was enrolled in a DMAP program with Mississippi before Arkansas had it.
Oh, really? Okay.
And part of this club, it's in that Mississippi Bachelor land, so part of it is in Mississippi, and then part of it's in Arkansas. And that's one of the key attributes about this club is they work so well with collaborating with other agencies.
And how important is that, Bill Cooksey? I mean,
Well, it's critical because so many things overlap, and folks are good at different things. So the more collaboration you have, probably the better off you are in the end.
And I think, Jeremy, you'll agree with that. I mean, because they've got 8,000 acres. That's a lot of land to take care of, and they kept it in timber, a lot of it, right? So I mean,
most of it is all timber. They do sense of
food plots. Yeah, they do some food plots and things.
They got a little over 300 acres of food plots, but
okay.
A lot of active habitat management. So they have active timber harvest going on. They participated in many other programs like Acres for Wildlife. They've restored some native grasses or even plots on their property. They're just all around doing. It's not just shooting deer on this club. They're active habitats too.
Yeah, and of course you did mention deer. They do have some deer there. I like what they do. A minimum of 4.5 years old before harvest. And a lot of my friends said, "Well, is that deer walking around telling me how old it is?" You know, I mean,
it's a little tricky, but this club has been around long enough that they've paid attention and took guidance from us, and they do a lot of aging on the hoof.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Harvest, they collect the jawbones for us so we can actually get a much more accurate age. And they check those lactations, get the weights, measure antlers. So they're really involved at getting the scientific data for us so we can provide a quality recommendation back to them. And that's not no shortfall. These folks collect
they give back, don't they? I mean, you told because I read in here. Listen to this, Cooksey. Last year, 18 deer met that minimum of 140 Boone and Crockett score.
Wow.
that's pretty impressive, Jeremy.
I mean, that's impressive. Really, it is. And I mean, kudos to them. But it's really, 140 inches is a dream buck to a lot of folks.
It is. Yes. Mm-hmm. But they also give back, I understand, to the Hunters for the Hungry, which we really support, and Bill does, I know, and we do here in Tennessee. That some of those deer that they're part of that Hunters for the Hungry program too, right, Jeremy? I mean,
they are, Larry. Yeah, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but it's well over 50 deer. 50 to 60 plus deer that they've donated. I mean, what happened is they had a flood, and they are higher ground in that bachelor land, so it pushed a lot of deer on them.
Yeah, and
those like their habitat so much, they just really didn't leave a whole lot. And so now they were forced with a large amount of deer on an island that was kind of, they needed to balance the number.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
So that's where Feeding Hungry come into play. They said, well, we can't shoot all these deer and eat them because we don't have enough human mouths to feed.
Right. Well,
they work with Hungry, and they help supply the venison snack sticks to all of the children in need for the local schools and their local backpack programs.
Several thousand packages of deer meat snack sticks. So this club being recognized, do y'all do this every year? Is this the first time? What is this?
No, they do this routinely. The Hunters Feeding the Hungry donations has been around for a while, but the snack sticks programs is relatively new. I would say the last 3 deer seasons they participated in donating deer to Hunters.
That's good. Well, what about this award? Is it new, or is it given annually?
We've had it around for a little bit. This is the 3rd year we've held.
3rd year, okay, yeah. And these guys, you might. What is your background, Jeremy? Where are you from?
Well, I was born and raised in Northeast Arkansas.
All right, okay.
State University. I've got a bachelor's and a master's degree in wildlife management and ecology with a master's in science. But I could say I'm a Northeast Arkansas native, but I got a lot of family in North Central Arkansas. I even got some family around Hot Springs, so I cover the state pretty well.
You cover the state pretty good. And the program itself, you said it's a new program. So did you jump at the chance? Is this something that you really wanted to do? Because this is a wonderful program. So talk about what your duties are.
Well, So DMAP's been around for a while. It's just a newly created position. We kind of act as we're calling it a revitalization of the program. We're revamping it to make it better.
Yeah.
I kind of serve as a coordinator of all of our biologists. We have 11 DMAP biologists across the state.
Okay.
We we have a cooperative agreement with the National Deer Association. If y'all have ever heard of NDA.
Oh, yeah, we've had them on the radio here. Yeah.
We got 5 positions that are co-opted with them to be DMAP biologists, and then the other 6 are our game and fish private lands biologists. So they divide out in regions across the state, and they work with clubs like Jackson's Point just to give them technical assistance, tell them how many deer they need to be harvesting, kind of look at their habitat and provide recommendations on how to make it better. And it's a free service that we're just kind of their, personal club assistant that helps through the deer.
And I know, Bill, you can jump in on this because I know we've talked about August being dry month in September, and we had a wet July. But Jeremy, what's the shape of the Arkansas deer herd now?
We're doing good. We bounced back a little bit this year with our harvest. There was a couple of years ago we had a low harvest. People were kind of scratching their head, but we bounced back last year. We had it was just a little bit over 192,000 deer.
All right.
So back to normal. And, we've had a fairly amount of rain. It's not been just super wet, but with these temperatures and with the mass crops that we are expecting to see this fall, I don't expect anything out of the ordinary, to be honest. I really feel like we're going to have a pretty normal year. Good. I'm not going to have just a record harvest, but I think we're going to be right around that 200,000 mark or just shy of it.
Well, I grew up in Arkansas, and I can tell you I never thought in my wild days that we'd ever have 200,000 deer killed in Arkansas when I was growing up.
No.
And Cooksey could probably say that, too, growing up in Jackson, Tennessee, too.
Same deal. The idea of having deer and turkey now all over these states around here is pretty incredible.
It blows your mind. And Jeremy, I know that, and Bill, I want to ask you because you deal with conservation, and it's so important to have some kind of mediator between the public and the Game and Fish Commission. And this is a position I think is very beneficial. I don't know if we've got one in Tennessee like it. I have no idea, Jeremy, and I need to find that out. But
they actually don't have the position currently in Tennessee because I work with a lot of their counterparts.
I didn't think we did, but we need it.
Yeah, I believe they have a form of this. It's just they don't have the designated staff for it right now.
What about CWD in Arkansas?
It's here.
Yeah.
It's one of those where we kind of grit our teeth and we put our nose down and grind on. It is here, but, man, it's not the end all. I mean, we're still hunting and we're still harvesting.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's what we want. That's what we want to hear.
I'm trying to remain positive about it. I'm not going to give nobody a sob story because we grew this deer herd with this disease. So it's a matter of we just got to use the right tools, be real smart about it, and make good, sound management decisions. And don't have knee-jerk reactions. So
I go for that. Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy Brown, thank you, buddy, for being with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday morning. And we'll stay in touch. We got your number now. Okay, man? All right?
Having me.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you down the road. All right?
I'll take it.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Switch gear to a little fishing. Ron Wong is now awake and alive over there. We're going to hook up
always awake and
with
alive.
The one and only Jacob Wheeler. Coming up next on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We have finally got Ron Wong awake. I mean, we've been talking about deer hunting and other things in there, and Ron is perked up. He's the only guy I know that will get a personal call from our next guest, just to make sure. I mean, he was texting me, but he calls Mr. Ron over there. And you folks, we were scheduled to have Dustin Connell on with us this morning, along with Jacob Wheeler. But Dustin is having some teeth procedures, and we've been talking off and on with Dustin, and hope he's getting back in the saddle, because this guy we're going to talk to this Saturday morning, he needs his partner in the boat with him, and that's Jacob Wheeler. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, everybody, man. I know he better get that stuff figured out real quick. I might need him in a couple of days.
You're going to need him in a couple of days.
By the way, Jacob, congratulations on AOY again this year.
Yes.
Thank you so
Way
much.
to go, buddy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's always great on that. I really appreciate that.
Well, I mean, that's your winning tournaments are great, but that's really a bigger prize, because you're having to top all of these other anglers that are so good.
Yeah, and it's a season-long battle, I think
Yes,
that's what makes it so special. It is. It's a season-long battle, and only a couple of decisions can be the determining factor. You winning Angler of the Year and losing it. I mean, I've been so close sometimes, and I've won it because of a couple of good decisions, and I've lost because of a couple of bad ones. So it's a fine line.
It's hard. We pull for Tennessee anglers, okay? Even though you're closer to Washington, D.C., you are Memphis. But we appreciate it, because I know Bill Cooksy's listening in, and he's Mr. Big Orange on this show. I know that from Bill's sake. But, Jacob, I know this team event. Let's talk about this, because you and hopefully Dustin, he better be ready for next Tuesday. So talk about, this
new team,
the
two-team format,
the Major
two-man format.
Major League Fishing 2024 General Tire Team Series, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Major League Fishing, and you and Dustin are teamed up. There's 12,
how did that happen?
Yeah, there's 12 teams, but how did that come up with you and Dustin? I know you guys been friends forever
and roommates.
Roommates.
I think the key is on that whole deal. It was like, they made it this year where a captain could actually draft a captain.
Okay, yeah.
And so that gave us an opportunity to fish together, which of course, being roommates and being, best friends. He's one of my best buddies.
Yes.
I fished a lot of team tournaments with him over the years. I know him the best in the boat. I think we work really well together, and I think that's a lot of. Regardless if Dustin would have been last in the points or first in the points.
Yeah.
I felt like we would have. If we could get the opportunity to fish together, since we fished together several times, we work well together. So I think that's the key is. You got to have someone you trust. You got to have someone that can take the lead on both sides. I'm technically the captain, but he can take the lead. I can take the lead, and we can. We have both a good understanding of what obviously might need to figure out what we need to do to catch this bass.
I can tell you one thing. Outdoors with Larry Ray has been very good to Jacob and Dustin. Okay, we've celebrated with you a lot of times.
That's
but
right.
Both you guys have been part of our winning team here and everything. So, but how does it work in the boat? I really want to know how that's going to work.
Yeah. So basically, it's pretty simple. This first round, there's going to be 4 two-man teams, and we're going to be competing to qualify on to the knockout round, okay? So basically you have to – only 2 teams will advance on from Tuesday's competition.
Okay.
You'll watch it live. You'll see what goes down. We don't – similar to the old cut format where we literally – jump in a truck in the morning. We drive to some ramp and in some lake or river. They drop us in and say, "Go figure it out." And only the top 2 teams from each of that starting rounds will qualify on to the actual knockout round. So the goal is to move forward. I think the knockout rounds Thursday maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is.
So, so that'll go on. Then you fish Thursday. And then I think it's like I'm not exactly. So I'm only getting to the first round.
Let's just go there.
Now every scoreable bass counts in this tournament, right?
Correct. Every scoreable fish counts, and because of the old cut format with no practice, it is a 1 pound minimum, from my understanding. So that'll be interesting to see exactly how that one goes down. But I think it fits that with no practice. You're not targeting. A 1 pounder, you're targeting bass, and you're trying to figure it out on the fly. And so,
you guys have no practice.
we don't even know what we have. No practice. We have no understanding of the lake. Yeah,
or even which ramp you're going out of, or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you're on. You back your boat in. You're launched. You get ready. You've got a half hour to cruise the lake. What do you guys do? How do you guys break it down?
Well, each format's a little bit more unique, and each round's a little bit different. So in this scenario, of course, you have a two-day tournament, or you have to make the top two to advance on. So you're gonna first figure out, with two guys, you better be catching some bass.
That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, for me, of course, I'm going to be thinking about how I can find groups of fish. Dustin and I fish very similar on that. So that way, if you found one group, you would have a really good opportunity to move on.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I know, again, we're talking to Jacob Wheeler, getting ready for the MLF 2024 General Tire Team Series presented by Bass Pro Shops. And I did read a quote in there, Jacob, from you, which doesn't surprise me. He said, quote, "There will definitely be some shenanigans out." Now, when I read that quote, I said, "Now, what kind of shenanigans are we going to have between Dustin and Jacob?" So
it's going to be fun.
We'll have some time. We'll have some fun. And that's the thing is, this event is
fun.
Team tournament bass fishing is what got me started in in bass.
It did.
Fishing,
That's right.
fishing.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way for a lot of us, And so, going out there, this is the most fun format I could possibly think of, because I love fishing Thursday nighters when I'm home at the house, or so it doesn't matter necessarily what it is. It's just going out there with your buddy and going and figuring out how to catch some bass.
Well, I want to let our listeners know you're going to be able to watch this starting Tuesday morning live on MLF.com.
Right. Yeah.
And Jacob, I got a question for you.
Uh-oh. Yep.
I understand that you're coming out with a new signature series apparel for Academy Sports, the Magellan line of clothes. So when is all of that going to be out, and what is it going to be comprised of?
Yeah, so that's actually, it's a little bit still under wraps. There's a lot of stuff going on. But
we done unwrapped
you got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
So I have a line of clothing right now, and then but I went to Academy, and this is a combination from my busy lifestyle of performance gear and technical gear, just having good cold weather gear, having good, hot weather gear and gear that can hold up to the conditions on the technical side, but then also the lifestyle aspect of things. So just a higher quality, better value. And I think that's been the key. I sort of came to them working with all the folks at Magellan to come out with something. So I'm excited to dial in, and talk about it even more, but that's the gist of it is it's sort of both ends of the spectrum, just all everything for the outdoorsman, and it should be cool.
Oh, I think it's going to be cool if Jacob's involved in it, because success. How old are you now, Jacob? I think I've aged with you. How old are you now?
30. Let's see here. Am I 30? I'm 33 right now. I'll be 34 September 18th.
I thought you had a birthday come up.
Yep.
It seems like yesterday, but we've been on the air 24 years, starting next week. And I know we've had you on several times, and I know we had you on way back there.
Yes.
When you were very young, and to see what you've done right now.
I think you were like 18 or 19 years
like
old.
That.
Yeah.
Are you still living the dream? You still have that same excitement?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
right now, as we speak, I'm out here with my little boy. He's 2.5. He huts it. Huts, and we're out here on the lake.
All right.
Out on Lake Chickamauga.
Yes.
Hanging out and fishing. And I think that keeps you young and passionate. I love bass fishing. I love fishing in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People still ask me all the time, like, do you still love it? Is it your job, or do you still love it? To me, this is everything. I can't imagine doing anything else. And this is, like, to me, bass fishing when I get home is still my getaway from tournament bass fishing on the road.
Yeah,
it's not the stress.
It's your hobby
too.
too.
There. Yeah, if I catch 3 or 4 bass in the evening with my little boy and my little girl, it's great. We have a great time. And so I think that's the way you got to do it. Like, I've been able to separate the two. Of course, you have the tournament side of things, and that can be stressful, and that can have its ups and downs. And there's and it definitely can be frustrating when things aren't going great.
You got to live with that, because we're talking to a guy with 56 top 10s, 69 top 20s.
Wow!
The last time I heard, you had 12 wins, and you're still an ancient 33. I think he's trying to tell us there.
And Jacob, this General Tire Team Series, the two-man teams now.
Yeah.
There are some teams out there that are really sleepers, in my opinion.
I'm looking at the roster right now. This is team. We've got to tell him his team. Kubota is his team. So we don't want to throw that out.
And Jacob, most people are kind of putting you guys out at the top to win everything there.
Oh no!
But there's some sleepers out there, aren't there?
Oh
yeah, they don't sleepers. They're wide awake.
Absolutely. Obviously, this format's a little bit different, and it's all going to come down to synergy within the team.
Yeah.
If you work well together, and also it comes down to a little bit of luck. When you're going out here and you have no practice, you're going to have to make the right decisions on the fly. Like, you're not always going to make the right decisions. Obviously, Dustin and I had a great season this year and last few seasons. But that's also with practice and time to prepare.
Yeah.
You have no time to look at aerial photos. No, you can't research for these events. You just simply have to show up and just go off your own personal gut feelings. And so it definitely changes the game. It's a different game.
It's a pretty level playing field.
Well, I know there's 4 Tennesseans in this field. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty impressive when you think about it and when it gets right down to it. But, hey, Jacob, we appreciate you, buddy. We're pulling for Dustin to get through that root canal and get back in the bowl with you. You may have to stuff something in his mouth. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to listen.
Yes.
I'm gonna have something tricked out for Tuesday for y'all. If you guys watch, I'll make sure to let y'all. I'll have something for him.
Shenanigans. That's what we're looking for. Okay.
We wish you both you and Dustin, all the very best.
We'll talk.
Go win it.
We'll talk to you after y'all win it. Okay.
All right, let's do that. I'm gonna make sure to have some dentures for him.
All right. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you, buddy.
Be good.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. You hanging on, Bill Cooksey?
I'm here.
All right. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And we're in the Grizzly studio here, and it won't be long till the Grizzlies will be ropping in here. But every Saturday morning, as we roll into the 24th anniversary show on next Saturday, and we'll continue to mention that to a lot of surprise guests and whatever it might be. But a little did I know until I was told by my good friends at the Tennessee Wildlife Federation over there that August is National Sports Month, right? Sports Shooting Month. You try that, saying that real fast, okay? All right. I've been in this for a long time, and I still can't get it to come out. But we are happy to have with us as a guest on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday morning, Ashley Tone. She's been on the show before. She is the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program Manager for the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And, Bill, I know shooting sports are close to you. They were close to my buddy Dave Gabbert and a lot of other people. But first of all, Ashley, good Saturday morning to you, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Larry.
Let's talk about it, because, Ashley, you've been on the job, 3 years? Are you close to 3?
Yes, sir.
3 years.
3 years.
And I know your background and everything else. What's going on in August in the shooting sports world?
Yeah, National Shooting Sports Month is August every year, and it's just an opportunity for us to get to celebrate this amazing pastime that we all know and love with shooting sports, and that encompasses everything. We're most interested, of course, in the clay target aspect, since that's what our program participates in, but it's just a way to promote getting out to shooting ranges in your backyard to shoot pistol, rifle, and shotguns, just any way to promote getting out there and participating in any type of shooting sports. And it's a great timing right before all of these hunting seasons are upon us.
Yes, and Bill, the Scholastic Clay Target program pretty close to you. So you've coached it?
Yeah, I coached 2 different high schools over a 5-year period, and some of the greatest times I've ever had, and still have close relationships with a lot of those kids. Of course, they're adults now, but man, it's a special time. And what Ashley and JW and everyone at TWF, the way they have those programs going, it's amazing. And Ashley, I was shocked the other day. They gave the numbers on the number of kids who came out to y'all state championship, and it blew me away, because I wondered, coming out of COVID when ammo prices were crazy and getting it were crazy, how will this even go on? So,
yeah.
I mean,
what were some of those
away,
numbers? Yeah, give us some of those numbers, Ashley.
Yeah, this year we had our state championships in June, and we had a record participation with over 3,300 entries. And that comes from kids from all across the state of Tennessee, from about 85 different teams.
Wow. And I know this is an explosion sport here, so to speak, no pun intended. And of course, we watch the Olympics and the success of our teams over there. But this is a sport that opens the door to a lot of young people that may not be able to get out there and kick the soccer ball or dunk a basketball, anything like that. I've got some personal friends who live near Chicago that 2 of their boys have taken it by storm. I mean, they're competing nationally, and just they started young out of the high school program.
Ashley needs to brag some more. What about those titles the kids brought back?
That's what I'm coming to. Yeah. What about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right at the beginning of July, we took about 270 kids to Ohio to compete at the SCTP National Championships, and we brought home 80 national championship titles, which was just absolutely incredible. 80, yes, sir. So we've got some incredible talent here in the state of Tennessee, and it's just, you're exactly right. It's a very inclusive sport. A lot of these kids have zero opportunity to be a part of a football or a baseball team, but they're clearly excelling on a national level in shooting sports, and it's a really great thing to see.
And we're talking about number-wise. Doesn't Tennessee rank pretty high nationally as far as participation?
We have the 5th largest participation at the Nationals, but we have about the 3rd largest program in the country. So our numbers are growing, and we're continuing to see that growth. We were just having a conversation the other day, and I think it has a lot to do with the Olympics. I'm getting emails every single day from parents all across the state looking to get their kids involved. So it's catching on like wildfire here.
And Bill, what do you think? Why is this, Bill?
Well, as y'all said, it's a very inclusive sport. Guys and girls, kids who. I had one kid who had been a stellar football player and was going to have a college scholarship, and he got hurt and he couldn't play football anymore. Yeah. And I remember his mother saying, "You've given him just his ability to compete back."
Wow. Yeah.
And it made all the difference in the world in school for him. So there's not a better way to get kids on a team. You can compete at wherever you are, whatever level you are. So if you do very well and you advance fast, you're competing at the top level. But you're basically competing with others who are similar to you.
That's
so
right.
it allows you to really compete, and that's a great thing for them.
And also, Ashley, West Tennessee's very well represented, aren't we?
Absolutely, especially right there near you in Memphis. We have a huge pocket of teams in the Memphis area, that even a couple of all-girls teams.
That's right,
and it's really neat to see all the growth in West Tennessee and all across the state.
Well, I know that, again, we're talking to Ashley Tone. She is the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program Manager for our good friends at the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And I appreciate Caroline setting this interview up with us, Ashley, because August is that time. We're back in school. Is it sign-up time? I mean, when do we start How do they get into this involved?
Absolutely. It's a perfect timing with August being National Shooting Sports Month because September 1st kicks off our season for the 2024-25 season. So if you're looking for a team in your area, just go to our website, tnwf.org, and find the SCTP landing page, and there's a cool little button right there that says Find a Team Near You. You fill out all the information that I need to connect you with the closest team in your area where you can get started.
And, of course, Ashley's no fluke at this herself. I mean,
nope.
I think you love this sport, Ashley, and I know that brought you here from, I know, Milton, Tennessee native, but you played in college, you shot in college, national championship and things along that line. Your job is kind of exciting, I would think, to be in this position right now.
Absolutely. It's a really cool position where I get to take what I learned when I was participating in this program and all the things that it taught me and pass it on to the next generation and share it with even more families.
I don't think you ever thought about this when you were the associate director of missions for Lipscomb University's College of Pharmacy. I saw that and I said, well, this is a little bit different. I mean, you got to be loving your job. And
yes, absolutely.
So tell our listeners again how they get more information.
Yes, you just visit tnwf.org. That's the Tennessee Wildlife Federation website. And if you go to our outdoor programs page, you'll see a link for the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program. We got all kinds of information on there, some great videos introducing the sport, and then a form to find a team closest to you, and we can get you signed up this season.
And folks, this is not just statewide. This is explosion around the United States at this time. Kids, as many kids are getting involved. And what age groups are we talking about here?
You can start as early as age 9, and within the Scholastic Clay Target Program, you can participate all the way through your collegiate career. But the beauty of shooting sports is there's a pathway to continue participating for the rest of your life through other organizations like the National Sporting Clays Association, USA Shooting, and Amateur Trap Shooting Association. So it's very easy to get hooked, and you can keep on participating as long as you'd like.
Well, that's the best thing about this.
They'll let you come out and shoot, Larry.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what age group I would be in, but it would be the forward tees. Okay. Oh, that's golf. I don't know what it is for the other one. Ashley, thank you very much for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and hope you have a great month, and we'll stay in touch and tell everybody hello over at the TWF for us, okay?
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Larry.
Thank you. All right. Ashley Tone and Bill, getting back to you on this because I know Bill the 12th. I can't remember what your son's.
He's the 5th.
He's the 5th. Okay.
I
know he was involved in it, and you just got to be. Yep. You had a kick. I know you always love doing that, and to see those kids. We got a couple of minutes here. I wanted to really get with you on the coaching side. Because people will say, well, they're not doing grass drills and things along this line, okay? But you're having a chance to really sharpen some kids that may not think that they can do anything, and they pick up that shotgun and they become a different person. You teach them safety, patience, teamwork, sportsmanship. There's a lot of things you guys teach, right?
Look, you learn safety, you learn sportsmanship, you learn about teamwork and how to get along with people. You open up your social circle, which in school can be huge. I mean, because you'll get out there and you'll be shooting with kids older than you, kids younger than you, people you see in the hallway but never see in a class because, you're in different paths.
That's right. Yeah.
But you become friends, and that can also change dynamics at school, and that's a life lesson because we should never stop meeting people and getting to know different people and getting outside of that comfort zone. So it gives you all that plus competition, and competition is so important, learning to compete and look forward to it in life.
The thing that strikes me is that a lot of people may not understand, but it teaches discipline.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's so important today.
Yeah.
mental discipline and physical discipline.
Yeah,
I mean, trout
that's
is
right.
one of the most mental games there is. But I tell you, you stand up there and you shoot 100 clay targets in a row.
Yeah,
there's some physical to it.
There's some physical to it. I know that. I'd be shooting left-handed, of course. All right, let's take a break. We got one more segment. Ron Wong is prepared, and Bill wants to learn about catching some crappie. Well, we got a young man coming on next. He's caught a few in his young life, so we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning and welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, the one and only, with the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor sports radio.
That's right, yeah.
You know, Larry, our next guest, he's only been crappie fishing. You're not going to believe this. First of all, I think he's only 24 years old, but he's only crappie fished 8 years.
Oh, come on.
But talk about somebody that can learn fast and do well. He's fished all of his life, but he has won the Mr. Crappie Expo tournament, the big dollar deal. He's won an ACT, American Crappie Trail National Championship, a Crappie Masters National Championship. He's a member of the Magnolia Crappie Club, the oldest and largest crappie club in the USA. Now, this is the one and only awesome crappie fisherman, Hayden Jeffries. Good morning, Hayden.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Wow, what an introduction. I think I'll just sit back and listen to you and Ron. And Bill, we can just take up tips here. I don't mean money-wise, but other guys. But, Hayden, I really appreciate you being with us. And Ron's talked so much about you, being out of Brandon, Mississippi, and the love of this thing. And I know that you do some guiding, don't you? I mean, you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right. I am going on 2.5 years now, full time.
Full time? Do you guide mostly on Ross Barnett? Is that your home waters or what?
Yes, sir. That's the primary lake that I guide. Every now and then I'll go to North Mississippi and do a little bit on Grenada.
Okay, but now, so you are 20 what now? 24?
I'm 24. Just turned 24 last month.
Oh, happy birthday! And so this is. Are you living the dream? I mean, is this what you wanted to do? I mean,
I was always the kid that didn't really know what he wanted to do.
Oh, I like that. You fit right in my family. Okay.
I guess it all just kind of fell into place for me.
But Hayden, tell our listeners a little bit about you. When did you start fishing?
Yeah.
And you really didn't start crappie fishing, but when you started fishing. But talk about your fishing, growing up, learning about fishing.
Yeah, so my family's always been big in the outdoors. I'm all the way back several generations. So my dad, from when we were old enough to even consider fishing, he put a rod in our hands and he started taking us, to these small ponds and taking us to Ross Barnett. He was a big bass fisherman. Fished a lot of tournaments back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That's Dan Hayden, by the way, for all of your listeners out there.
Yeah, that's your dad, Dan, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
He would take us fishing anytime he got a chance, except during hunting season. During hunting season, he would take us hunting. So
all right.
Super blessed that he was able to spend that quality time with us while we were young and teach us so much about the outdoors and all the great things involved with it.
Well, you kind of teamed together, didn't you? I mean, you two?
Yeah. I mean, we have fished. We've been fishing crappie tournaments together for the last 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. How's that work with your dad in the boat with you? Who's the commander? Who's the commander?
We both have our roles. I don't know that we've ever set the commander.
Okay.
We work well together in the boat.
Hayden, I've had the opportunity to observe you and your dad, Dan, on the water during tournament days at tournaments. And, folks, I want to tell you something. It takes a true team to do well in these crappie tournaments because, although you might be live scoping and one person's fishing, but that other person is probably busier with keeping everything going, the fish being measured, the whole bit, netting the fish and everything else. And,
team effort.
You know, when I see crappie teams, you know, obviously starting way back when, Caps and Coleman, then along comes Josh Reynolds, Josh Jones.
Yeah.
And then you guys came along the scene here, and you guys are truly a team. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. We always worked well together. And I really think a lot of it goes back to us spending so much time in a boat together. You know, I've been fishing with my dad since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So, you know, we kind of just, everything rolled smoothly. There wasn't very often that we might have, you know, questioned each other's decisions or argued in any way. We really worked well together.
That's great.
We were able to work really efficiently. That's one thing that my dad tried to instill in me and both of my other brothers was a work ethic. You know, if you want it, you got to get out there. You got to go get it.
Right.
And he taught us that, and I was able to, you know, turn that into, you know, use it while we were fishing. And
well, you've done very well. And I've got to ask you. I know Cooksey wants to know too. What's a slab crappie to you?
I'm gonna say
what?
Anything. I'm from Mississippi, and as a lot of people know, that's some of, you know, they call it world class, and I agree with them.
Yes.
Once that fish hits the 2-pound mark for me, that's a special fish.
That's a special fish.
Yeah, that is.
I agree with that.
Anytime I can get there, that is, you know, that fish is matured in life. It's a special fish to me. And then every now and then you get to experience a 3-pounder, and that's just
right.
something to talk about.
Yeah, I'd like to experience that. That's 2 1.5-pounders. I'll take that. Again, we're talking to Hayden Jeffries of Brandon, Mississippi, and Ron Wong helped set this up. And I know, Bill Cooksey, you're listening in on this.
Larry,
so
I'll tell you something.
Are you writing anything down, Bill? I am. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm taking notes.
I think that Hayden is excellent with forward-facing sonar.
Okay. Talk about it.
Just how he does that. And Hayden, I want you to talk a little bit about how you learn and the learning curve to it, and also talk about training and setting up your equipment. You do that as part of your guide service also.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell our listeners about forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
Your learning curve on it, and why are you so good at what you do? Because you're excellent. And then talk about what you offer.
You know, forward-facing sonar came out. I don't remember the exact year, but it's been a while now. We're going on, you know, probably maybe 6 or 8 years. I'm not really exactly sure on that.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I was able to get my hands on one pretty early on. I want to say I was one of the only people around my lake for a while that had one.
Yeah.
And for the first 6 or 8 months of me using this thing, I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what it was. Wasn't really super interested in it because I was still using my old, you know, traditional styles of fishing.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a guy came to Mississippi. Actually, Josh Jones came to Mississippi and fished one of our Crappie Club tournaments.
Yeah.
And he walked in and just won it, holding one pole in his hand, using this forward-facing sonar. And I'm like, I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so about that same time is when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And being that I'm only 24 years old, I was in college at the time. They shut campuses down, sent all of us home. You know, we went online with classes.
So you had to go fishing.
Exactly. It gave me so much free time that I was able to
what, Bill?
really get out there and grind at it for a little while. You know, I was social distancing, as I would call it.
Social distancing, yes, I like that.
Yeah. And, you know, spending time with it, and it grew from there. You know, you start to pick up things and pick up these minor little details that you can, you know, add to your arsenal, and it grew from there.
It's part of your guiding service now. Is that part of your guiding?
Correct. I offer guide trips either in my boat, like we can go if you just want to go catch fish, don't care anything about forward-facing sonar, we can do that.
Okay.
But I get a lot of people who are curious about it. Maybe they've never seen one before, or maybe they just bought one and they're trying to get it all figured out and get it set up. And then I get a lot of people who have been using it for a while and feel like there's always something else to learn. So
like a classroom in the boat is what you got.
That's
there.
right. That's
and
right.
you will also go out in their boat with them as part of your service to set their equipment up properly with the right resolutions and sensitivities and that kind of stuff, and show them what they're looking for
That's
right?
I feel like it's a lot easier for somebody to see it using their own equipment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even for me, like sometimes I put myself in an uncomfortable situation getting in somebody else's boat, but I know it's for their betterment.
Yeah.
But I get in a lot of boats and just go help them, show them as much as I can show them in our time frame we're allowed, and we've had some really awesome trips.
Well, tell our listeners how to get in touch with you. Ron always asks this if you want to book a trip because fall's coming up, one of the best times, and Hayden needs to know so how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so probably the easiest way is going to be through my Facebook.
That's it. Great
Hayden
Facebook
Jeffries
page.
Fishing.
Yeah, great Facebook page. You really keep that up to date. I've noticed that since Ron popped your name, and I joined it and was really impressed with you don't post something every 3 months.
I've tried to stay on top of it. I know these days social media is the name of the game.
Yes.
And so you have to spend a little time.
So go to your Facebook page, folks. Go to Hayden Jeffries' Facebook page, and that's HaydenJeffries. That's right, Hayden?
That's right.
And go to his Facebook page. Well, you can Google him also, as most of us have learned in the old days. Now that you can find YouTube videos with Hayden at the old age of 24. Golly.
You've got a lot of good YouTube stuff out there.
YouTube stuff.
There's all kind of videos and articles, and there's a lot out there. But, anybody that's interested in coming fishing with me, I would love to have them. Just shoot me a message on there. We can get something lined up.
Line it up, buddy. Well, we appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you being.
I still have several days open this fall, and I'm already starting to do some stuff for next spring.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being with us, Hayden, and we'll talk down the road. We got your number, okay, buddy? All right?
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Take care.
All right. Take care, Hayden. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hayden Jeffries. Let me quickly tell you about next week's show because it is our anniversary show. Hope Ron can join us. Maybe, Bill, you might be able to call in next week.
I believe so.
And get something from all of our co-hosts. We couldn't do this without a great co-host, and that's Bill and Ron and Frank Barton and John Gordon and Gene Smith, who's been with me since the start, Dave Gabbard. And we're going to hook up with David Beal a little bit more, too, Ron. He's really a great, knowledgeable young man.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy him. But I know that Mike Webb from the NRA will be in here next week. Gene will be in here next week. Surprise guest, Shelby's going to have her trumpet. I wonder what she'll be playing.
All right.
I have a hint. One of them, I know what she's going to play. But she's going to be playing the House of the Rising Sun. So what's up with you, Bill? You on the road? You going to stay home for a while?
I'm going to be home the next couple of weeks, and there's enough to do here. So.
There's enough to do here, Bill.
I've got squirrels to kill, doves to kill.
Well, tell them where they can go to find out more information about Vanishing Paradise and what you do.
You can catch Vanishing Paradise on Instagram, Facebook, or vanishingparadise.org.
And go to LarryRay.com. All of Ron's pictures from the Legend of the Outdoors should be there, and a lot of other good stuff from Ron. Ron, thank you, buddy.
Oh, you're very welcome. I just want to remind everybody, it's really going to be hot this week coming up.
Yes.
Remember to hydrate if you're out in the outdoors, and also if you're on the water, wear that life jacket.
And as I say every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. What else, guys?
God bless the USA.